Good morning, boys and girls, and it is Monday again today. I hope you had a lovely midterm break and got a chance to have a rest and hang out with your family and have a bit of relaxing time. But all good things must come to an end, unfortunately, so it's back to do a little bit of work again today. So, let's begin with our date. And today's date is Monday, the 22nd of February 2021. Monday, the 22nd of February 2021. And as always, we begin by writing our date down. Then we move on to our spelling. So just check the date at the top and make sure you're on the right week. Week 6. And this week we are practicing the A sound. And it's made in many different ways. It's made using AI, AY, A hop over E, which just means there's a letter in between the A and the E, and sometimes A on its own can make the A sound as well. Now A on its own would usually make an A sound, but in some rare cases, it does make an A sound. So our first three words here have our AI sound: wait, train, and explain. For our next three words, the sound A is made with AY. So we've got holiday, stay, and Sunday. For A hop over E then, we have take, make, and games. For A alone then, A on its own, we have making, and table. And then we have another little exception to the rule, a little extra one, where we have EY making the A sound. Now it's not one of the main ways, but it is one of the little extra exceptions to the rule. So remember, our little extra words where A is made in a different way would be put up here. So grey would be one of those words we would put up here. EY is the sound and GREY is the word. So question 1 asks you to go down through your word list that you have and circle the letters in each word that represent the A sound. So you're going to circle one of these groups of letters in each word, or maybe the EY if you see grey in that word list, and grey is in the word list. Alright, so just go down through. So for example, take there, that's A hop over E. So you could just circle the letter in the middle as well, that's fine. Whoops, don't need the T there. A hop over E. Same with same, and just go down through and circle what way the A sound is made each time. So question 2 is what we just talked about earlier there with the word grey. Write any other letters that can represent the A sound and write a word example. So we would go over here, and our A sound was made with EY as well, and the word was grey, GREY. You'll see here with the word 8 as well, EI is making the A sound there, 8. So you could put in EI as your letter sound as well, and the word 8. And also EA is another way that they have made the A sound. It's not one of the 4 main ones we're learning this week, but it is another exception to the rule. So EA, you could also list up here and then write one of the EA words. You could write break or great. Question 3 then asks you to draw 1 dot for each sound in the word list. So I'm going to do as I always do. I'm going to go down through the word list and sound out each word, and you count the sounds. Okay, so we'll start with take. T, A, K. Same. S, A, M. Games. G, A, M. S. Stay. S, T, A. Today. T, U, D, A. Wait. W, E, T. Tail. T, A, O. Train. T, A, N. Baby. B, A, B. E. Lady. L, A, D, E. It. A, T. And it as in A-T-E. A, T. Safe. S, A, F. Making. M, A, K, E, ng. Holiday. H, A, O, I, D, A. Table. T, A, B, O. Break. B, R, A, K. Great. G, R, A, T. Shade. Sh, A, D. The SH stays together there for shade. Sh, A, D. Sunday. S, N, D, A. April. A, P, R, I, O. Grey. G, R, A. Afraid. A, F, R, A, D. Explain. X, P, O, A, N. Station. S, T, A, T, shun. And if you take time and care with those three parts, I think that will be plenty for today, boys and girls. Of course, if you're feeling confident, you can work on ahead, but I think those first three parts will keep you pretty busy for a little while anyway. Let's look at our literacy now. And today in our literacy, we are looking at homophones, and we're returning again to looking at 2, 2 and 2, which we looked at last week. And the activities you completed on 2, 2 and 2 were very well done, so I don't think you'll have much bother with these. Now you have some example sentences at the start, just to remind you of what each 2 means. So the first 2, TO, is what I just call the ordinary 2. It's the 2 you use a lot of the time. And it often represents direction when you're going to somewhere. So it says here, I am going to the cinema. Now, TOO has 2 different meanings, as we looked at last week. It can mean more than you need or more than you want. So it is too wet to play outside. So wetter than you need or want. It is too wet. And it can mean also. Can I come along too, please? Can I come along also, please? So it has those 2 different meanings. So just bear that in mind. The last one then I think is a little bit easier. TWO represents the number 2. So anytime you see that one, you know right away that it means 2. It means the number 2. TWO. There were 2 fish in the bowl. So read through each sentence carefully and insert the correct 2. And I know in question 6 there's 2 2's to put in, and they're 2 different 2's. So be careful with that one. All right. So for your maths this week, you'll find this times table sheet in your pack, which you'll be using every day this week probably. Today we're going to look at data handling again, and then for the rest of the week we're going to be revising over our times tables. So far you'll see the ones that have a star on them are the ones we've covered so far. 1 times tables, 2's, the 3's, the 4's, the 5's, and the 10's. And sometimes people wonder why we do the 10's before we do the 7's, 8's and 9's. But as you know, boys and girls, the 10's are actually very easy, aren't they? It's all about putting a 0 on the end. So we will be looking over those tables this week and revising them. So anytime you have free time, you get yourself on to hit the button and practice these times tables, or just look at them on this sheet and practice saying them aloud. So as I said, today we're going to be looking at data handling. And as you might remember from the week before last when we were looking at this, Data handling is just a way of showing information in different ways. So today we're going to look at this way, and it's called a Venn diagram. And we've already looked at other ways of showing information through Carroll diagrams, pictograms, and bar charts. So I'm sure you remember these activities from the last time we were working on this. So moving on to Venn diagrams today. So let's have a look. So you'll see there's two big circles there. There's a yellow one and a blue one, and they overlap in the middle and kind of make a green colour. Now, if you were drawing your own Venn diagram, you wouldn't have to colour them or anything, but the green is there just to show you that the two circles are overlapping. They're joining together a little bit there. And you'll see it says here, multiples of 5, and that means that anything in this yellow circle is a multiple of 5, including the part of the circle which has turned a bit green from mixing with the blue. So anything in this whole circle is a multiple of 5. So you pull over your 5 times table sheet and you'll see in your 5 times tables, here are lots of multiples of 5. So all the answers in your 5 times tables are multiples of 5. And even bigger numbers can be multiples of 5. Anything that ends in a 0 or a 5 is a multiple of 5. So even 1,000,005 would be a multiple of 5. Okay, because you'll see anything that ends in a 5 or in a 0 is a multiple of 5. Now in the blue circle, including the bit that's turned green, are numbers that are greater than 50. All right, so we've got 73, 87, 51. Yep, that's greater than 50, only just, but it is. 98, 65 and 80. Now, here in the yellow we have multiples of 5. On this side we have numbers greater than 50. What do you think we have in the middle? In the middle we have numbers that are multiples of 5 and are greater than 50. Okay, so anything that belongs to both groups, this one and this one, goes in the middle. All right. Now in question 1A, you are asked to think of more numbers. You're asked to think of 3 other numbers for each part of the Venn diagram. So 3 numbers that would go into the yellow section, 3 that would go into the blue, and 3 that would go into the green area in the middle. Okay, and you can just write yellow and then your 3 numbers. You don't have to start drawing the Venn diagram out. All right. So 3 numbers that would go in the yellow section are multiples of 5. So we've got all these so far. So we could go to our 5 times tables and see if we can find some more. But make sure we don't get ones that are more than 50 because they would be in a different part of the Venn diagram, wouldn't they? So numbers that are just multiples of 5, smaller numbers, anything less than 50. And you find 3 of them that aren't already in the yellow circle. Then you have to find 3 numbers greater than 50 that would go in the blue circle. Okay? But they can't be multiples of 5, remember. They can't end in 0 or 5 because they would go in the middle. And then 3 numbers for the green part. Numbers that are multiples of 5 and are more than 50. All right? So for example, 55 would go in, wouldn't it? And 60 would go in because they're multiples of 5 and they're also greater than 50. And really any number that ends in 5 or 0, as long as it's greater than 50, it will be able to go into the green section. Question B then asks you, in which part should 50 go? So if you had the number 50, where would it go? Would it go into yellow, green, or blue? Well, let's check. Is 50 a multiple of 5? Yes, it definitely is. Is 50 greater than 50? You work that one out for me. And then you'd write yellow, green, or blue, whichever part of the Venn diagram you think 50 should go into. Part 2A then asks you to list these 4 numbers in red, 8, 23, 32 and 71, and it wants you to think of 12 more numbers as well, any numbers as long as they're less than 80. Okay, so I've done that already. I've written out there 4 numbers and I've thought of 12 of my own. Now, you don't have to use my numbers. You can think of 12 of your own numbers to add to the list. So you'll end up with 16 numbers. Now, question 2b, I want you to skip because as a part of the question I don't think you need to do. We're going to go straight on to question C, where we're now going to sort the numbers that we have come up with. So, I want you to get a big piece of paper and I want you to try and draw your own Venn diagram that looks like this. So you'll have two big circles and they'll be overlapping in the middle. Now they don't have to be coloured in at all, just two big circles. So what I did was I got the back of my times tables page here and I drew circles on it. You'll see I've started working on my numbers already. And once you've drawn your two big circles, put these labels on them. So the yellow, this one here on this side, it doesn't have to be yellow, means numbers between 20 and 60. And this side is multiples of 4. So you're going to put those two headings. You could pause the screen if you want now, although you have the page at home as well to help you. So I want you to draw this Venn diagram and put these two labels on it. All right, you can pause the video to do that. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. I'm sure it's a lot neater. I've just done this very quickly. So you've got your two circles overlapping. Probably should overlap a bit more than that. I haven't left myself very much space there in the middle, but hopefully it'll be okay. And then you've got your label at the side, numbers between 20 and 60, and your label at the other side, multiples of 4. Okay, so then we just start to sort our numbers. Now, I have my numbers here on a separate page. It might be a good idea for you actually just to put your numbers at the top, and then you can cross them off as you put them into the Venn diagram. So, let's look at the first one, number 8. So I'll cross it out so that I know I've used it. 8. Is 8 between 20 and 60? No. Is it a multiple of 4? 2 4s are 8. Yes, it definitely is. So it goes in here. It can't go in the middle because it's not bigger than 20. Okay. Let's look at our next one then. 23. Okay, let's look. Is 23 a number between 20 and 60? Yes, it is. So it might go here. Is it a multiple of 4? Well, all the answers in the 4 times tables end with even numbers. But you can also have a check by just taking a peek over here. Do you see 23 anywhere? No, I see 24, not 23. So it's not a multiple of 4. So it would go into this side. It is between 20 and 60, but it's not a multiple of 4. All right. 32. Now 32 sounds familiar to me. Is it more than 20 and less than 60? Yeah. Let's look at our 4 times tables again. You might know them in your head, which would be even better. Anyone see 32? Oh, look, it is a multiple of 4. So, it's more than 20, less than 60, and it's a multiple of 4. So it goes in the middle. That's right. 32 goes in the middle. 32. Okay, let's do one more. Now, 71. Is 71 between 20 and 60? No. Is it a multiple of 4? No, all multiples of 4 end in even numbers. So it doesn't belong in this circle and it doesn't belong in this circle. So what on earth are we to do with 71? Well, when something doesn't belong in either circle, we write it outside the circle like this. All right. So once you've got all of your numbers, you work your way through them. And as I said, it doesn't have to be mine. You can come up with your own. All right. And then just sort them into the circle. So some will go here, some will go here, some will go in the middle, and some will go outside because they don't belong to either group. Then you finish off with question D, which asks you, which numbers did not fit inside the circles? Why not? So you'll see here I have 71, but if I carried on with my numbers, I might have a few more as well. And I would say they didn't fit inside the circle because they weren't numbers between 20 and 60, and they weren't multiples of 4. So that's the reason that you would give. All right. So take your time and sort your data, your numbers out into the appropriate circles. All right. So that's it for today, boys and girls. You'll be glad to hear, because this is a long video. They always are on Monday. Continue on with your accelerated reading and your Sum Dog, and remember to keep those Lenten promises. All right, talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.